Hello, dear friends. Welcome to this program called Moments with God, where on this channel I try to make some short, simple, humble reflections on the daily Mass readings. And I hope that is useful for you for your spiritual life and spiritual journey. But before I proceed further, as usual, I am requesting you, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and press the bell icon. Thank you. As I said yesterday, in Europe and parts of here, we already celebrated the feast of the Ascension. It is always celebrated on Thursday, 10 days before Pentecost. Of course, in India and in many other countries, it will be celebrated on coming Sunday. But the readings for practically the whole week from the Gospel of St. John is somehow speaking about Jesus's departure. He is going up to heaven to his Father, and constantly he is trying to speak with his disciples and trying to inform them, tell them, console them, and encourage them about what would happen to them when he goes away. And therefore, you remember a few days ago, he told his disciples, "Nobody is asking me where I am going." And then he said, "Because your hearts are filled with grief." And then he wanted to say some more things, and he said, "But you will not be able to bear them now." And now, in today's reading, he goes further. And if I may just read to you from today's gospel, it says, Jesus said to his disciples, "Amen, amen, I say to you, you will weep and mourn while the world rejoices. You will grieve, but your grief will become joy. When a woman is in labor, she is in anguish because her hour has arrived. But when she has given birth to a child, she no longer remembers the pain because of her joy that a child has been born into the world. So you also are now in anguish, but I will see you again, and your hearts will rejoice, and no one will take that joy away from you. Amen, amen, I say to you, whatever you ask the Father in my name, he will give you." So you see again, he's talking about that you will weep and mourn while the world rejoices. You will grieve, but then he promises that your grief will soon turn into joy. Yes, as we said the other day, Jesus had also mentioned, "I give you peace. My peace I give to you. Not as the world gives it to you, do I give it to you." But it was his peace. You see, he always makes this distinction between the worldly things and the divine things that he offers us. So the peace of the world is of a different type. So also the joy and happiness of the world is of different type. And therefore he also mentioned, you remember, that the world will hate you because of me. And we had reflected that day also that the values of the world, that is, the world looks for power, might, money, beauty, wealth. These are the worldly values. Of course, unless we look beyond these things to what Jesus offers us, we remain on this level of the world. But what Jesus is inviting us always is to look beyond. And therefore he says, yes, right. When the world rejoices, you will be mourning and you will be in grief. But then comes the beautiful consolation and consoling words from him. But he says, your grief will become joy. And then he gives an example of a mother who is expecting a child and there is a labor pain. Women know it better than men, but men also have experienced how their wives or their mothers their sisters have gone through the pain, and how all of a sudden all that pain disappears because the mother has a new child. And that's what Jesus is trying to say, that when you understand what is happening to me, when I go away, I will send you an advocate. And then you will realize that the sadness or the grief you are feeling because of my absence or because I am going away, that grief will turn into joy. And to crown it all, he says, nobody can take that joy away from you. My gosh, what a beautiful thing. And then he says, so you also are now in anguish, but I will see you again, and your hearts will rejoice, and no one will take that joy away from you. Yes, there are always in this world moments of grief, of pain, especially if you are only looking at the level of the world and our human feelings and emotions, then of course we suffer. But if we look up to heaven and if we look up to Jesus and his words and his promises, our sorrow will turn into joy. May I remind you once again that you may also, looking at Jesus, turn your sorrow into joy. Have you already subscribed to the channel? Please do it now. Thank you.